What's up, guys? Welcome back to Inside Out Precision. Today, the highly anticipated EVL 32 by PSE. I know I've been pumping this thing for a while. We got like 3 in and immediately they were sold. So I had to wait a little bit, and then I had camera difficulties, and it was a whole thing. But anyway, it's in my hands now, and I think you're gonna like this review. So before we get started, I do want to mention something. We have another run of hats right now, the Inside Out Precision hats, and the links for both hats, there's a black one and a gray one like this. Both the links are in the description below. So if you go down to the description of this video, there will be 2 links. It links directly to our PayPal. You can just enter your info and we'll get you one shipped. The first run we did through Instagram, and it was just kind of a mess because you'd have to, DM us, and if that message got lost in the other onslaught of messages we get every day, some guys sat there for 3 or 4 days before we saw the order. So we were doing it through YouTube. We have a lot more hats. I think we've got like 115 or 105 left right now. So if you want to support the channel, they're a good looking hat. They're just a Richardson 112. So yeah, hit that link below, order your hat, and start repping. We really appreciate any support that we get. It allows us to do these videos and bring you guys more content. So there's my little plug for the day. Let's get into what you came for. So this is the PSE Evo Evl 32, kind of a mouthful. This is their new 2020 line. They make it in the 34 as well, which when we get those in, I will do a review on that. But to get into just the nitty gritty specs first. So this bow comes in at 344 feet per second. So one of the faster bows in the shop. It has a 6.25 inch brace height. So for a bow with that speed, that's a pretty good brace height, actually. As the name would suggest, it's 32 inches axle to axle. It has, it comes in at 4.5 pounds, so a little bit heavier than like the Drive NXT, which is like right about 4 pounds. But definitely not a heavy bow by any means. They did a couple things different this year. So it is still the Evolve cam system, the same one that was on like the Evo NXT last year, but they put in the hard yoke system right here. Sorry, this light is getting in my way. They put in this hard yoke system right here. And what's really, really nice about that is that it allows me to actually use these yokes to help tune the bow a little bit. Last year, I really liked the way those bows shot, but they were a pain in the butt to tune because it's, they have these shims in here to slide that cam back and forth. And it was just really time consuming, especially when you got 10, 15 people waiting. And they were kind of a pain is basically what it came down to. So with this hard yoke system, by weaving it through this little piece here, I can actually put turns in these yokes here and alleviate a left or right tear through paper. So that's a huge feature. As well as the yoke system. So even though it's the same cam system, they actually totally redid the axle here. So they bumped it up to a 1/4 inch axle, so really, really solid axle. And they really widened the limb pocket here. This limb pocket is much wider than it was last year, and that allows me to get a lot more space in between when I'm working on those shims there. It makes it a lot easier to get those shims in and out. I think it's a huge upgrade, personally. I've had really good luck tuning these. Last year we were getting a lot of really severe right and left tears right out of the box. Like when I say severe, I'm talking like a couple inches. And so, you're pulling the whole bow apart, shifting both cams over. This year, most of them have been really, really close right out of the box. So you got the yokes to tune, you got the shims to tune, and then in addition, you have the cable guard again. Now you don't want to run this too far out. You don't want to run it too far away from the riser because when you come around the cams here, they will miss the draw stop. The draw stop will miss the cable. But if I've got just a little like 1/8 of an inch tear right or left and I don't want to move my rest for it, you can play with the positioning of this cable guard and alleviate that tear. So I really like that. I got to shoot this bow quite a bit when our rep brought it down probably a little over a month ago, and I'm extremely impressed. Now, the first thing that I was shocked with was how smooth it drew. So I was shooting it right-handed. I'm actually getting pretty good at shooting right-handed because I have to do all these reviews right-handed. So I'm starting to get to the point where I can actually get a decent feel for a bow. And I was really surprised at how smooth this bow drew. So I was shooting it in 70 pounds, and I should note that you can get this bow in a 50-pound peak weight all the way up to an 80-pound peak weight. This bow at 80 pounds would absolutely scream in terms of speed. So another thing I noticed was that it's a very stable bow. The Evo series last year was the same way, the NXT, an extremely just well-balanced, good holding bow. And part of that is due to the riser configuration here. So this riser doesn't have a lot of reflex. And if you're not familiar with what reflex is the shape of the riser basically. So, you know, the distance from the end of the limb pocket here to the flattest part of the riser, the most recessed part of the riser. And personally, I like a bow that doesn't have a ton of reflex. A good example of that would be like the Matthews, like the VXRs and the V331s. I mean, no knock on them, they're phenomenal shooting bows. But when you get a lot of reflex, the same amount of grip pressure torques the bow more. That's why you see with target bows, the risers are almost always basically just straight. They might even have a little deflex, meaning the grip is actually outside of the limb pockets. And that's because a riser that is straighter or has deflex, it takes more pressure in the grip to get that bow to torque. So I really like the shape of this riser. It feels extremely solid. It holds extremely well. In addition to that, it's got two different options to mount your stabilizer. I like it on the bottom hole, personally. It keeps that center of gravity really low, especially when you get a quiver on there. That, you know, once you get a quiver full of arrows on here, some bows feel a little top heavy. This really keeps that center of gravity low. You know, some guys are running the stabilizer off here and then they'll just put like actual just stabilizer weights on a thread right here just to add weight to the riser of the bow down low. But it gives you those options, which is really nice. You know, you've got your rear mount down here if you want, or you can mount it off the front of the bow. So lots of options with stabilizers there, and I think that's, you know, a lot of these bows now, stuff is coming down to like the fit and finish. And so to have those options, guys really appreciate that. It does have this grip on it, so it's kind of a wider grip. Personally, I think it's really comfortable. I wish it was a little bit thinner. Like I like the rubber texture, but I wish it was a little bit thinner. I would have to play around with this. What I would probably end up doing was pulling that off and ended up wrapping it with like a tennis racket handle wrap, just one of the unpadded ones, and running it that way, because I like a thin defined grip, but I don't want my hands slipping all around if it's like wet or, you know, sweaty. So in addition to all that, you've got some different mounting holes here. Sorry, I'm using my phone light because my camera light died. But anyway, you've got these different mounting brackets here. So some guys, you know, they put on a sight and they're like all the way bottomed out to get sighted in, and you can actually just move the whole bracket down and then you're not bottomed out on your sight. So again, just lots of options, and I like options on bows. I hate when you have a bow where, you know, well, I shouldn't say I hate it, but most bows you got like one option for your sight, one option for your stabilizer. This bow you got a lot of different options. So really, really cool bow. I think part of the reason this bow holds so stable is this much wider limb pocket and this beefed up axle. It's hard to describe, but it's just an extremely solid platform. So I'm really impressed with the changes they've made. I mean, it's pretty reminiscent of the NXT 33, and I'm kind of curious to see what you guys that are diehard PSE fans go with, because last year they had the 35, 33, and 31. So for those of you shooting the 33, I'm curious if guys are going to go down to the 32 or up to the 34. So far, I really like the 32. I haven't shot the 34 yet, so I don't know completely if that's what I'm going to, you know, which one I'm going to go with. But if you know me, I've shot my Traverse since 2019, and I absolutely love my Traverse, and this bow actually reminds me a lot of that, but it's significantly faster, probably by about 10 feet a second on everything. So I don't know. I think I may be making the switch this year. I haven't made a final decision. I haven't got one in lefty to really put it through the paces yet. We keep getting all these PSE boxes in, and they're all PSE Embarks, which are great bows, but I'm not shooting a mid-range bow. I gotta go flagship. So anyway, we're gonna do the usual speed test with this. So I'm gonna go get some arrows. We're gonna shoot it at 30 inches and then at 28 inches. And I should note, this is the EC cam. So they do make the SE cam, which is like kind of like their speed cam, and you can get even a little bit more feet per second out of it, but it does draw stiffer, and it has less let off. Now, I can get lower let off mods. I can get a 65 to 70% module for the EC cam as well. And on the EC cam, I can change, with this little draw stop right here, I can actually change the let off between 80 and 90%. I like shooting it at 80. Most people like 85. 90, I mean, it feels nice, but for my style of shooting, you know, I need more holding weight than that. And you know, you get that little pressure on the string at full draw, and things kind of get squirrely. You know, any torque you have is going to affect the string more with less pressure on it. So anyway, I'm going to shoot this today at the 85%, just because I think that's where most people are going to run it, with the EC cam, 70 pounds, 30 inches, and then at 28 inches. And I've only got like 3 different arrows today, but I'm going to try to go, you know, like 500, 450, and like 400. So anyway, I'm gonna go get that Chrono set up, and we'll put this thing through the paces, see what it can do. All right, so we got the Chrono set up here. I should note, so this bow has a really large draw length range. So this bow will go from 25 out to 30.5 inches. So really big spectrum there for short draw guys, longish draw guys. I would probably shoot this at 30 or 30.5, just based on the feel. You know, my Matthews is at 30, but Matthews always feel a little bit long compared to other brands. I think 30.5 would be right on the money for me with this. But for this review, we're doing 30 inches, 70 pounds. Right, so I got 4 arrows. First one, this is a 510 grain FMJ. This bow's smooth, it's quiet, draws really well. And remember, I am right-handed drawing, or left-handed drawing a right-handed bow, so save the crappy draw comments. .271 with a 510 grain arrow. That's pretty good. This next arrow is right at, this is a 460. It's got a little bit of a hump right at the very end, but not bad. 283. You can hear how quiet it is though. So this is a 400 grain arrow. This one's light. Actually, it's 409. Right at 300 feet a second. 300. And then this is the speed demon here. This one is this one's 361. .312. So actually not quite as fast as I was expecting, to be completely honest, but still not bad speeds. I mean, I was expecting that to be in like the 320s with a 360 grain arrow, but not horrible. So I'm gonna go pull those arrows, and I'm gonna put this at 28 inches, and we're gonna do the same test. All right, got it to 28 inches. So 28 inches, 70 pounds, first arrow, 510 grain FMJ. Those speeds honestly kind of surprised me. I was expecting faster, not gonna lie. That drew a little smoother. 245. So this is the 460 grain arrow. .269, so pretty good jump there. This is the 409 grain arrow. Nice, 281. And then this is the 368 grain arrow. 288. So not bad speeds, not amazing speeds, but it's an extremely comfortable bow to shoot, I think. For me, it kind of fits the bill. You know, if I'm over that 270 mark with a 500 plus grain arrow, I'm totally fine with that. Again, this is on the 85%, probably get a little more speed at the 80, not a lot, probably like 2-3 feet a second. But I'm impressed with that. I am probably gonna recheck these speeds and confirm that it's not just the chronograph with like low batteries or something, because when it starts getting low batteries, it does tend to read lower speeds. But I think it's a great option for any of you guys looking for a new bow. I really like PSE. They are under a bit of a restructuring at the company right now. I think they're going under new ownership and we have a new rep. So I think that's why everything is slowed way down getting these bows, which is unfortunate because I think they are right at the top of the pack with all the new stuff out this year. So anyway, if you have any more questions on that, hit me up. If you don't see another post with any update on speeds, then these were all correct. If you do see an update, it'll probably be on Instagram. So follow me there. I'm gonna charge this thing up a little bit more and see what it does. So I don't think it's the chronograph though. I think I charged this thing yesterday. I think we're all good there. Just not quite as fast as I was expecting. I was expecting everything to be about 10 feet a second faster just across the board there. But again, speed is kind of irrelevant these days. I mean, unless you're looking for like a 3D bow or something and you're shooting a really light arrow. I mean, accuracy is what kills, and you can have a really fast bow, but if you can't hit anything with it, you just miss fast. So definitely go down to your PSE dealer, check one of these things out. I'm really impressed. I love the way this bow holds and shoots, and it's a comfortable bow, which if you're not comfortable, you won't be accurate. If you're not accurate, you won't kill anything. So if you have any questions, hit that comment section below. Please remember to smash that subscribe button if you haven't already. It really helps us out. We appreciate all your guys' support. And just remember, precision is a decision. I fumble that every time. But yeah, go get some.